Right, one of the first things you're going to need to add is text. So we're going to have a title. So what you do is go to the left hand side and you grab the T tool, or you click the T tool. So there you go, I've pressed it there. And then you go ahead and you draw your box to start typing. Now the reason why I draw my box is so I can kind of decide beforehand how long across the actual page I want my text to go. I'm happy with that. There you go. And then you can just go ahead and type your title. So I'm just going to put in here, my WSO work e-portfolio. There you go. And then just click tick at the top. Whenever you make something or put something on the canvas in Photoshop, you need to click tick. So that means, yes, I commit to what I have just done. I did click tick, but I'm not happy. I actually want a capital W and I want a capital E and I want to make my text bigger and so on. So you can go ahead and edit it by clicking on the T icon next to the layer that's been created. So before I carry on, if you're very new to Photoshop, Photoshop works with layers. So it puts every separate thing on a separate layer. So you can think of these as like tracing paper sheets. So they're all kind of on top of each other, but you can still see everything. The good thing about this is that you can edit one thing without it affecting something else, or you can delete one thing and you haven't affected anything else that's making up your composition, your piece, okay? So here is my layer that I just created. Anything with a T next to it in the layers toolbar means it's a text component, it's a text bit. If I hide it, then you know which one you're actually looking at or playing with and so on. So let me go ahead and edit this text. So I'll double click on that T and then I can have access to the editing part again. Okay, so I'm just going to change that to a capital W and this to a capital E. I'm also going to just select all of this and go ahead and make the text slightly larger. I want it a bit larger than 18. Let me just have it 24. If you're very picky, you can change it to something exact, so you can type the actual size. I'm going to leave it centered. For me, that's what I want. You can change the color of the text if you want. For now, I'm just going to leave it black. Normally, you know, good practice is just to leave everything as black and then worry about the color after. And I'm happy with that. Okay, I'm just going to click tick. If you want to move it down a bit, you've got to make sure. Go across to the left hand side and click the move tool, and that will help you move it. If you're worried about moving it and then like kind of taking it too much to the left or to the right, then what you can do is just use your arrows. So you can hold down shift and move quicker. So that's what normally I would use. I would use the arrows to move things around my screen, so I don't like get it out of place on you know, the other axis. So if I want to just take it down the y-axis, you know, or up, I'll use the arrow so I don't mess around with the x-axis. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you put your text in. That's my title. You all should have an introduction of some kind as well, so you can go ahead and do that. So I will just do that now as well, so you can have a second dose of how to add text. So again, select your T tool. Go ahead and decide beforehand how large or wide you want your text to be, or where you want it to go up to. I'm happy with this. You can obviously, you know, extend the box downwards so you can have more text, but I think it's quite nice to decide beforehand how wide you want your text. And if you've already done the activity, which looks at the different web page designs, you would have seen that the grid layout is quite attractive to the eye. The eye likes it, and I'll show you also how to actually justify text now. So you just go ahead and put in your introduction. I'm going to change my text because I know that's going to be too large. I'll just change it to 14, and I'll say this is my WSO work. Oops, I spelled that wrong. Work e-portfolio. It is a collection of my, let's say, best work completed for various subjects. I'll just put here so far this year. There are clickable links to my work, so enjoy. Now you haven't made them yet, and you may not make them this lesson, but they will be clickable links, so it's okay to say that. I'm just going to select all the text because currently it's just centered and I want it to look a bit different. So I'm just going to go over here and access my paragraph or character area. I'm going to select paragraph, and you've got these different options for alignment. this is normally quite nice, so I'm just going to select that. Some people like to keep it centered and centered justified. So actually centered justified for me looks good. So the justified means that the letters reach the ends of the box. You know how you have newspaper columns, and it just makes it look a bit neater. So, you know, go ahead and decide what looks best for your portfolio, and just make sure it does actually look good. Okay, right, so that's how you enter text. Okay, and remember the thing about layers. Every time you make something new or put something new on, Photoshop makes a new layer. So you can see now we've got 3 layers. The second one, I'm just going to hide it. You know that's the latest layer that you've just added. So yeah, so there you go. So just be more wary and get comfortable with looking at the layer panel here, or the layers area. And you know, show and hide is just a good tool as you're working on, so you know what you're working on, what you need to edit, and so on.